but I think Manny, at this stage, can rise to that challenge and win the fight.
Crossover star.
I would think probably Manny Pacquiao.
Boxing history already firmly secured, Manny Pacquiao is preparing to step back into the ring, driven by the pursuit of one more unforgettable night. But not everyone believes this is the right move. When Bob Arum speaks, the boxing community pays attention, and his recent comments about Pacquiao's return have sparked a mix of excitement, concern, and even sadness among fans. This isn't just another retired legend making a comeback for a quick paycheck. This is a warrior who shaped boxing history, who left the sport after years of brutal battles. Now standing on the brink of a dangerous new chapter, Bob Arum, Pacquiao's former promoter and a key figure in his rise to global fame, isn't sugarcoating his opinion. Tonight, we dive deep into the build-up, the emotional weight, and the serious caution raised by one of boxing's most respected voices.
Movement, I think a win by the number of punches that he throws.
Manny Pacquiao's comeback isn't just another case of a retired fighter dipping back into the spotlight. It's the chance to reshape boxing history. If he manages to succeed, he won't just set a record as the oldest welterweight champion, he'll stand as living proof that not every legend is bound by time. While most returns to the ring feel like ego trips or last-minute cash grabs, this one feels different. Manny isn't stepping into a low-stakes exhibition in some far-off venue. He's heading into a fully sanctioned battle against the current WBC world champion, Mario Barrios, a younger, faster opponent who's in peak form and building serious momentum. Amidst all the buzz, a familiar voice from Pacquiao's past speaks up. Bob Arum, the iconic promoter who helped guide Manny's rise to worldwide fame. Arum isn't here just to praise or criticize. He's here to offer a hard-earned perspective, the kind that only comes from decades of watching legends push beyond their limits. This is more than a fight. It's a clash between legacy and reality, between cherished memories and the harshness of the present. And when someone like Arum chooses to weigh in, it signals that what's at stake isn't just a championship. It's a moment that could shape history or cast a long, heartbreaking shadow. It didn't begin with flashing cameras or a bold, headline-grabbing announcement. It started quietly, something subtle, something personal. A shift in how Manny Pacquiao carried himself after hanging up his gloves in 2021. It was as if boxing never really let him go, as though each round he had ever fought still resonated in his body, pulling him back not for fame, not for fortune, but for something deeper, something unresolved. The world watched as Pacquiao traded the ring for the political stage, working to craft a new legacy for his country. Yet beneath the speeches and the formalities, the fighter never fully disappeared. You could sense it, the rhythm, the hunger, the story he wasn't finished telling. Even though many believed his final chapter had already been written, he never truly stopped. The training began quietly, almost in the background. Then it picked up: more intense sparring, sharper footwork, focused conditioning. He wasn't trying to prove anything to the public or silence his critics. He was chasing something within himself, the part that never stopped being a fighter. So, when whispers of his return surfaced in late 2023, they didn't shock anyone. Instead, they sparked curiosity, cautious excitement, that familiar feeling fans get when something long gone might just come back. Now, with Freddie Roach once again in his corner, and training clips surfacing, lightning quick mitt work, signature foot speed, and a physique that defies his age, it's clear Pacquiao isn't coming back for show. He's coming back to fight for real, against a reigning world champion, Whether this is a brave stand or a reckless gamble depends on who you ask. But what's undeniable is that the comeback is no longer just talk, it's underway. And Bob Arum, more than most, understands exactly what that could mean. Mario Barrios isn't some tune-up opponent. He's not a carefully selected name meant to ease a legend back into the spotlight. He's a serious, battle-tested WBC welterweight champion, tough, disciplined, and fully prepared to handle pressure, absorb punches, and return fire with precision. And Power. Barrios brings more than just youth to the ring. He represents an entirely new generation of fighters. He grew up watching Pacquiao, learning from him, admiring him. But this time, he's not stepping in as a fan or a student. He's entering as the man who could close the final chapter of Pacquiao's career for good. Unlike the opponents Manny once dazzled against years ago, Barrios is tall, calculated, and carries quiet, deceptive power. He's built for today's version of the sport, a faster, leaner, data-driven battlefield. He may not carry Pacquiao's legendary resume, but he holds something just as dangerous: time, youth, and the belief that this is his moment to stamp his name into history by defeating one of the greatest to ever do it. Some call Barrios a safer opponent for Pacquiao's return, but that's missing the reality. At 45, after years away from top-level competition, there are no safe fights left. Not now.
In that age, you can't keep taking punches to the head without it affecting you as you get old. I mean, I'm worried as far as Manny is concerned.
Bob Arum has witnessed the entire spectrum of boxing, the brutal wars, the meteoric rises, the heartbreaking downfalls, and the nights when champions lose everything in a single moment. When he speaks about Manny Pacquiao, it's not just as a promoter or a businessman guarding his investments, it's as someone who helped shape Pacquiao's journey from the ground up. He traveled the globe with him, stood ringside through his greatest triumphs and his toughest defeats. And few understand what's truly at stake in this comeback as well as Arum does. When Arum finally addressed Pacquiao's return, his words carried a heavy mix of respect and worry. He wasn't dismissive. He wasn't angry. His tone was that of someone watching a person they care about walk into something dangerous, something they may not walk back from the same way. Arum said simply that he hopes Manny succeeds, that he genuinely wishes him well. But beneath those polite words, seasoned boxing insiders heard the deeper message. A silent warning from someone who's seen the signs before. Fighter's spirit roaring yes, while the body quietly starts to falter. Yes, Arum admitted Pacquiao still looks sharp in the gym. His hands are still quick. His footwork still seems crisp. But Arum made one thing clear. Hitting pads is not the same as surviving under the lights. Sparring partners aren't real danger. Muscle memory can't fully turn back the clock when a live opponent is aiming to break you. He quickly shut down the swirling rumors of a potential Amir Khan fight, calling them distractions. The real battle, he emphasized, is with Mario Barrios, a fight that's officially on the table, a fight that's real, not media fiction. By doing so, Arum cut through the hype and steered the focus back to what actually matters. What happens inside that ring? Arum's stance isn't born from skepticism about Pacquiao's courage. He's never doubted Manny's heart. What he questions is the need, the wisdom of stepping into this kind of fight at this stage, where even the smallest mistake can carry lifelong consequences. Most strikingly, Arum didn't flat out say Pacquiao should stop. He knows Manny wouldn't listen. Instead, by publicly sharing both his support and his fears, Arum offered something more profound, a reflection. A moment for boxing, and for all of us, to look at the way this sport so often struggles to let its legends go before the damage is done. Maybe this time, Arum hopes someone listens before it's too late.
I think Manny, at this stage, can rise to that challenge and win the fight. I think he has...
Every comeback has a P. Price. But when it's someone like Manny Pacquiao, a fighter who's already conquered everything, the real question isn't just whether he can still win. It's whether the possible reward is truly worth the gamble and what the cost could be if it all goes wrong in the way no one likes to say out loud. Pacquiao's body isn't in its prime anymore. Sure, his hands still fire quickly and his instincts are sharp. But there's a massive difference between looking good in training and taking clean, punishing shots from an elite, active fighter, blows that could leave lasting damage long after the final bell and long after the crowd has stopped cheering. If Pacquiao pulls this off, it's historic. A 46-year-old former 8-division world champion stepping back into the spotlight, beating a reigning WBC title holder, and proving that the limits of age in combat sports are still being rewritten. It would put him alongside names like Bernard Hopkins and George Foreman, legends whose most unforgettable moments came at the very end. But if he loses, and not just on the scorecards, but decisively, painfully, it wouldn't just add another loss to his record. It could reshape how people remember his entire career. It could spark debates about why a fighter who had already sealed his legacy chose to return and risk tarnishing it for one more shot at glory. Bob Arum understands this delicate balance better than most. He's seen fighters win that one last fight and step into immortality. He's also seen them leave the ring beaten, dazed, or hurt in ways they never fully recovered from, not just in body, but in spirit. That's the true risk Pacquiao faces. Now, not just defeat, but a defeat that could permanently change his story, not as the hero who walked away on his own terms, but as the legend who stayed just a little too long. Legacy is fragile. You can build it over decades, and yet a single night can shake it to its core. But it's that very danger that draws legends back time and time again. Because for someone like Manny Pacquiao, greatness isn't about playing it safe. It's about how close you're willing to stand to the edge and whether you can still dance there without falling.
For Manny, just any advice for him at all?
Just be healthy and do what you think you can do. It's a hard thing to do.
Online, the debate is relentless. Some are celebrating the return of a living legend, while others are quick to point out the long history of great fighters who ultimately couldn't escape the pull of time. With Bob Arum now part of the conversation, his words laced with both pride and concern, the stakes have grown even larger. This fight isn't just about another belt or a simple comeback. It's become something much heavier. It's about the true price of legacy, what it takes to defend it, and what someone like Manny Pacquiao is willing to risk to either preserve it or gamble it all. Under the bright lights, in front of the entire world.
Can he do it? Absolutely.
That's a Mexican
Manny Pacquiao's
Oscar needs.
he's a legend. You know,
Some nice ones. Thank you.
he's a legend. I think he can do it. Absolutely. I mean, it's not going to be easy.
The moment Manny Pacquiao's return shifted from rumor to reality, the boxing world lit up, divided, passionate, and buzzing with debate. On one side, waves of fans who had grown up watching Pacquiao conquer 8 weight divisions celebrated the news. For them, this wasn't just a comeback. It was another chapter in an already legendary story. They believe if anyone can challenge time and carve out one more historic victory, it's Pacquiao. To these fans, this fight is about more than a win. It's about extending greatness just a little further, about writing one last unforgettable page before the final chapter truly closes. Clips from Pacquiao's training camp only fuel that belief. The speed, the rhythm, the signature fire, it all seemed to flicker back to life, hinting that maybe the old magic hadn't fully left. But not everyone is convinced. a growing number of Voice's former champions, respected trainers, seasoned analysts, and even younger fighters who once idolized Pacquiao are now asking the hard question: is this really about chasing glory, or is it simply about struggling to let go? Even Mike Tyson's son entered the conversation, expressing fears that Pacquiao might be falling into the same heartbreaking cycle that has swallowed so many greats, coming back one time too many, only to risk reshaping a legendary career into a cautionary tale. Sugar Ray Leonard also chimed in, offering a measured warning. He reminded everyone that being in shape is not the same as being ready for a real fight. Training sharpens you, but it doesn't recreate the brutal, unforgiving pace of an actual war in the ring, especially after years away from absorbing real punishment.